Welcome. My name is Emma Smith, and I am President of Student Council. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may now be seated.
Good morning. Welcome to the 2020-2021 Convocation. My name's Eric Martin. I am the high school principal here at Winton Woods High School. I'm excited about the start of the school year. Although we understand that there are a lot of different challenges, difficult and different, but my team, this Winton Woods High School Warrior staff, this Winton Woods City School District staff can't wait to get started. We're definitely about to stake our claim in this education revolution. It's an opportunity for us to be great for our kids. It's an opportunity for us to be different for our kids. It's an opportunity for us to be excited for who we serve. Although it's going to be challenging, although we don't know how some things are going to come together. It's been my experience here in Winton Woods High School, this is when we're at our best. This is when Winton Woods City School District comes together and make a difference. So, if you're ready for this exciting journey, if you're ready to be groundbreaking, if you are ready to be a difference maker for this community, for our babies, stand up now where you're at and give me a big old cheer. Everybody in this room, let's cheer. Let's go! So with that being said, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Steve Denny to the microphone.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Good morning, everybody. I have to say it's extremely exciting to be able to be back. Look forward to seeing you all in person very soon. Welcome back. Welcome to the 2020-21 school year. And I guess to acknowledge the elephant in the room, as it were, it's difficult to understate that these are challenging times in which we now find ourselves. And that's our current reality. However, I have found, and this is professionally as well as personally, that when times are difficult, spending time being thankful actually helps ground me. And I've learned over time, and maybe you have as well, that anxiety and stress do not coexist well in the same space and time as gratitude. So to that end, I'd like to give a big thank you to everyone tuning into this morning. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you're about to do for children, for our communities, for our state, and for our city. And we just appreciate all of you. I'd also like to take a moment and spend time saying thank you to a very special group this morning. And as you may have seen, this special group has continued to work hard throughout the pandemic since this all launched into center stage back in March, and that's our construction and design team. You've probably seen the buildings are continuing to advance, and that is certainly something to be thankful for. So as we look out and see those new buildings on the horizon and see them coming, we're excited. They're still on budget, they're still on schedule, and they're to be turned over to the district still on February 5th, 2021. So very exciting times. And I'd like to give a personal shout out and a district thank you on behalf of all of us in our community to the following people. And it's not a short list, so I beg your patience, but I want to be sure that I spend a bit of time just thanking each of these people for continuing their stalwart efforts under very less than ideal circumstances. I'll start with Motes Engineering, our commissioning agent, and thank Kyle Ansbach and Brad Motes, engineer and president of Motes Engineering. Pete Becker, vice president, Skanska Construction. Aaron Byerly, architect, SHP. Don Bensick, the 712 site superintendent with Skanska Megan Construction right here behind us at the 712 site. Jerry Durr, construction supervisor, SHP, and constant support throughout this process. Jenny Gallo, Kinsey Harmon, and Carrie Malatesta, all with SHP and all interior designers. Many of you had opportunity to interact with them across the 140 plus design meetings that we held over the last 2 years to design these facilities. Big thank you to Allison McKenzie, project manager with SHP, and a huge thank you to Ryan Meads, project manager with the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission, OFCC. Ryan, thanks for all you've done, and we couldn't do it without you and your support and your guidance. Russell Miller, architect, SHP. Danny Mitchell, the site superintendent at the K6 construction site. He's with Skanska Megan. I'd like to give a special thank you to Evans Nwankwo. Evans is president of Megan Construction, located right here in Forest Park. Evans, thank you for all that you've done, and we know that you'll continue to do even after the buildings are open and in operation. Jeff Parker, architect, SHP, and also Forest Park alum, and I know it's special to him to see these projects coming to fruition. Chris Soto, project manager, Skanska Megan Construction. Thank you, Chris. Todd Thackeray, architect, SHP. And last but certainly not least, thank you to Jeff Williams, 712 site superintendent with Skanska Megan Construction. I'd like to thank our board for their guidance, Mr. Smith, the superintendent, our treasurer, our executive team, and teachers, staff. Once again, thank you for what you do.
Hi, I'm Ann Stankiewicz, here today representing the Winton Woods Educational Foundation, along with Eileen Manera, a member of our board, who will help award some really big checks. And I want to thank Mr. Smith for allowing us to be part of today's celebration and to tell you how excited we are to kick off our annual fund drive. And I hope each of you is excited as we are, but let's be real. The job you're about to undertake is daunting. We are in awe of the responsibilities that you face in helping our students become knowledgeable, responsible individuals who can use facts and evidence to meet the challenges of our ever-changing world. We support you in the monumental task that is before you and have confidence in your abilities. Okay, now that I've scared the daylights out of everyone, let's get to the fun stuff. For those of you who may not know, the Foundation is an independent, nonprofit group dedicated to furthering the excellent education you are already providing our students. We are here to support new and creative ideas to help our students excel and have opportunities that they might not otherwise experience. As of today, we have provided over $118,000 in grants, impacting over 8,000 students. We have funded projects such as art sculptures, voice and instrumental lessons, and many, many more great ideas suggested by you. How have we done it? Well, it hasn't always been easy, but sometimes fun. Fundraisers this year will be a challenge. You will get emails from WWEF giving you updated information as we go. A great way to give, for those of you who are interested, is our payroll deduction program. So watch your emails for donation forms. A one-time gift can also be contributed in this way. And please find our new website at wintonwoodsfoundation.org. In fact, get out your phones right now and check us out, especially our donation page. On our new site, you can make remembrances and memorials, a wonderful way to celebrate friends and family and others with a meaningful gift. Honor an outstanding educator or a staff member. we will send a note to the celebrant or the family. We are also a part of Kroger Community Rewards and Amazon Smile. Facebook also has the Winton Woods Educational Foundation listed as a charity of choice, so you can encourage your friends and family to donate for special occasions. Remember, every dollar contributed helps enhance the educational opportunities of our students. It's a win-win for everyone. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for, we are proud to announce the 2020 recipients of the Winton Woods Educational Foundation grants, totaling $14,800. Number one would be Josh Amstutz, Winton Woods High School, Let's Go Global, $1,500. Thank you. Congratulations, Josh. Second, we'd like to announce Claire Wilms, Winton Woods Middle School, Biddy and Bo's Coffee Cart, $1,300. Thank you. Congratulations, Claire.
Thank you.
And last, we would like to say thank you to the Matinee Musicale, a Cincinnati nonprofit organization who promotes outreach in music education. We are pleased to announce today that we are the recipients of a grant in the amount of $12,000 for our music department. Congratulations. Danny Ashbrook, Beth Miller, and Dr. Josh Thompson. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're so happy for you. And that concludes our presentation. I would just like to say, everyone out there, stay safe, stay strong.
Hello, I'm Jerry Ruddert. On behalf of WWTA, we would like to say welcome back. It's been a long time since we've all been together, even though we're virtual today. To our WWTA members, thank you so much for supporting us this summer. We had quite a few virtual meetings, and it was definitely an unusual summer, so thank you for your support. It really means a lot to us, and we know that this year is going to be very interesting with distance learning, hybrid learning, and face-to-face learning being terms that we weren't so familiar with in the spring, but here we are. So in addition, we have all of the anticipation of the new buildings and the upcoming election.
There have been so many changes so fast, including the new buildings. Wow, do they look different. This year is going to challenge us more than ever before in ways we would have never believed. Teaching kids from afar is our reality right now, and it isn't going to be easy for any of us. Thankfully, you are a brilliant group of educators who will take this challenge and rise above it. Why? Because more than anything else, we are warriors. Now buckle your seatbelts, keep your hands washed, wear your mask, and make this the greatest year ever. It is a great day to be a warrior. And now we have a word from the OPSE President, Shonda Gordon.
Good morning, Madam Board President, Dr. Johnson. We want to wish you a speedy recovery. Other board members, Superintendent Smith, administrative staff, teachers, my sisters and brothers, OC members, other support staff. To my sisters and brothers, other support staff, we all know that this is troubling times, uncharted territory for us all. I have to say thank you. Thank you to my sisters and brothers for whom stayed so positive, loyal to our students, teachers, staff, and one another's. Sisters and brothers, thank you for all of your hard work, dedication, and being a loyal OC member. We all will get through this together. I want each of you to have a safe and positive approach to this coming school year. Thank you, Madam Board President and Superintendent Smith, for all of your support. It has been an honor working with you thus far during these unprecedented, challenging times. Madam President, Dr. Johnson, and Superintendent Smith, thank you for your support to OC members and myself. I say this with pride. We are members of Ohio Association of Public School Employees. We are OC Strong. Thank you.
Ready? Good morning, Warriors. Welcome to the virtual playbook of the 2021 Convocation. When I was getting dressed this morning, I thought that I should probably put on my Captain America outfit. I decided to just wear the socks. That was good enough at this point. Hearing Ms. Shonda Ferguson-Gorton say brothers and sisters, it just felt really, really special, because in this whole endeavor, we have to come together as a family and be brothers and sisters. Our struggles today are about how do we create a seamless opportunity to educate kids in a more exciting way. So I'm going to start out with 3 simple goals. Number 1, how do we keep our community safe? And I'm not just talking about our educational community, I'm talking about our community at large. Number 2, how do we educate our children in such a way that the next part of their life, the next chapter that's being written, they can actually be able to step into those roles and be very successful? And goal number 3, how do we keep all of our employees that's on the same path to educate children gainfully employed? These are 3 major goals. They're huge. However, I believe the term that Ms. Baker used, warriors are absolutely leaders, warriors are fierce, and warriors never quit. Believe it or not, we started this journey, this virtual experience, March 15th. And 5 months later, we are still in the same journey of a virtual experience. We have to make sure that we understand that there's an operating levy. It will be a very, very difficult levy to pass. But as I mentioned before, warriors are up for the challenge. So in November, we're going to ask the voters to pass a $3.25 million levy. This will actually help us with our operational process, keeping people employed, keeping us in the right path, and making sure that all of our children receive the resources that they're entitled to. Our operating levy is about the preschool village, improving security, as well as increased enrollment. People ask the question, Are we still on this journey, Superintendent, for project-based learning with the New Tech Network? And the answer is yes. We're on this journey simply because we believe that this is the right path for us to take. Our children are motivated, they're inspired, and for every staff member that kept the lights on, meaning kept keeping the computer on, addressing the needs of the students as they were remote, I thank you very, very much. I personally thank you for everything that you've attempted to do for every child that you were responsible for, while also working diligently with your own children at home. That had to be a daunting task. And so I would be remiss if I did not mention that having those two parallels come together makes it very, very difficult. So that's the incredible process of being a warrior. So thank you. Someone asked the question, well, Superintendent, if we're virtual, are we still going to have athletics? Well, our academic journey is still moving forward. And believe it or not, some of our young people have worked diligently to become not only great students, but great athletes as well. These athletic opportunities or doors are open to help our children get to the colleges and universities of their choices without the burden of pay for their parents. So films are still being made. Opportunities are still being marched and launched and sent to college universities, showcasing our kids and their talents, because at the end of the day, we don't know how you will make it to the next level, but our goal is to make sure that we're there to support you 100%. And we don't know what's going to happen with the athletic opportunities. The Ohio High School Athletic Association, along with ODE, along with the Center for Disease Control, they have a lot to say about how this thing is going to move forward. But there are young people out there who said, Superintendent, how do we move to the next level without the support of the district? So we're going to support the music department. We're going to support the athletic department, fine arts, everything that we can, because even though we're in a virtual world, how do we make sure that our children still get the opportunities that we say that they could have at Winton Woods City Schools? We have this mantra that says, we're a district of destination. Well, it's more than just words, it's action. So I am excited about the North and South campuses. And we actually gave it the term North and South Campus because it has a collegiate feel to it. Imagine saying, I am a sixth grader and I am ready to transition to the North Campus. Man, that sounds very, very exciting. And imagine I am a kindergartner and I am launching my way forward and I'm saying, hey, my first day will be in attendance at the glorious South Campus. So thank you to our taxpayers. Thank you for hearing our plea about the buildings. These things are needed. And I can tell you that our children will be very, very appreciative of how this whole process takes place. Going up and down the roads in Forest Park and Green Hills and seeing these buildings come alive is absolutely exciting. So here are a few of the renderings inside. And if you notice, the three children that are sitting in the front, we wanted to put them there as part of the rendering of the K-6 campus, just to let you know this is a handicap accessible space. People wonder, well, how will the wheelchairs move up and down the stairs? Well, there is going to be the elevator that brings those kids into the front of the room. So for people out there who wondered how would the learning stairs be handicap accessible, I would have to say my colleague, Mr. Steve Denny, thinks of a whole lot of different things along with our construction crew and SHP. And if you notice that there's an insert where wheelchairs would actually be there to make sure that we accommodate our students that are handicapped. If you notice the greenery, the incredible campus courtyard, there'll be plays, exciting events, speeches, contests, verbal contests, all kinds of events that just inspire our kids to let them know that not only are we going to enjoy the amenities of inside, but we've extended our learning opportunities outside as well. The students that you see in the gym, no, they're not escaping. They're not running away from Winton Woods City Schools. They're actually enjoying the amenities of the gym. And that exciting gym will actually showcase a lot of talented students for many, many years to come. If you notice, the distributed dining. One thing about the distributive dining that just makes me very excited, when we talked about this and not having this large cafeteria, there are a lot of doubts. There are a lot of people saying, Superintendent, you're not going to have a large cafeteria that's in a traditional setting. Well, when you look at this thing called COVID-19 and how to spread children out and how to make sure that food is served in such a way that it does not put us in a safety issue or create safety issues, guess what? Distributed dining actually is the way to go. I am happy, I'm excited. There are superintendents across the state who wondered, why did you guys and how did you come up with this idea? Well, we knew that large spaces like a cafeteria actually limited our opportunities to create these very, very intimate spaces called education zones. So the distributed dining, not using the cafeteria space and actually delivering the food to the students will actually make us one of the most diverse districts in the country. If you notice, the same learning stairs are part of the opportunity at the 712 campus, and we learned a new term, the abominatory, or abominatory, depending on how you pronounce it. And this is where the team will actually come out from a tunnel underneath that'll look exciting like any collegiate campus. So stay tuned. The basketball team that is going to, girls and boys, that will have the ability to participate on this campus or in this arena have already assured me that our first 10 years we will be state champs. So I wanted you to know that. Now, I know people say, well, what does it look like now? Well, this is what the North and South Campus looks like today. But one of the things that's exciting about it, it changes every single day. We were in such deliberation and had a lot of conversation about the blue and green that streams down the side of the building. And I'm telling you, that is such a beautiful piece of architecture that I'm just excited that we actually put that into place. And I know some people were asking, Superintendent, can we put that on our homes? And if you're excited and you're interested, we can contact SHP, and I think they can put that on the side of any homes as long as your homeowner association approves. So we wanted to know, how do our parents feel about this thing called COVID-19? We could have speculated, we could have made a lot of assumptions, but we wanted to know straight out, what did they feel? So our community engagement coordinator, Mrs. Denny, created an incredible survey to our parents, and I wanted to let you know what some of the results said, some of the most compelling results. How comfortable are you with sending your child to a building every day this fall if all of the recommended health and safety measures such as social distancing are in place? There are about 1,400 responses. The blue response, which is 19.2, parents said, we're relatively comfortable, which is about 20%. Then the next level, which was red, hesitant, and concerned, 50% of the parents saying they're hesitant and they're concerned about how will this environment create a safe environment for my young person. And then, of course, the gold. They were very, very strong with their statement. I will not send my child to school unless there's a vaccine and or treatment. That was 30.6%. The next one was about transportation. How comfortable are you with sending your child on a school bus every day this fall if all of the recommended health and safety measures such as social distancing are in place? Again, 1,400 responses. The blue, relatively comfortable, which is about 15%. The red, hesitant and concerned, which is about 31%. The yellow, I will not send my child to school on a school bus until there is a vaccine or treatment. And of course, the green means it was not applicable simply because those students do not ride the yellow bus. The COVID-19 protocol has to be something that we all take seriously. However, to all of our staff, I want you to listen very, very carefully. Everyone that's listening to this broadcast has had one of these symptoms at some point in time prior to COVID. And I'm going to read them because they're very, very important. Fever or chills, coughs, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headache, loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion or running nose, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. I wanted to read that list simply because when one of your colleagues has a cough, I think it's very important for us not to spread information that I believe they have COVID. If one of your people that you're working with talks about having a headache, I think it's very important for us not to spread that this person may have COVID. I think it makes people uncomfortable, and I think it's premature because we are not physicians. We have not done a physical assessment on anyone, and so I think in order for us to make sure that we're keeping our energy in the right direction, which is educating our young people, we have to make sure that we are not spreading information that tends to make us all very, very uncomfortable. So here's the report component. Employees who have symptoms, notify your immediate supervisor and stay home. Symptoms. People with COVID-19 have a wide range of symptoms that I just read, ranging from mild symptoms to very severe. Symptoms may appear 2 to 14 days after exposure to the virus. People with these symptoms may have COVID-19 and should not report to work. As I stated before, the most important part is to make sure you contact your immediate supervisor. So here's a potential exposure. If you think you may have been exposed to COVID-19, contact your immediate supervisor and your healthcare provider and stay home. Keep track of your symptoms. If you have an emergency, trouble breathing, get emergency medical attention immediately. Employees should not return to work until the criteria to discontinue home isolation is clearly met. And make sure that you stay in consultation with your health providers and stay in close contact with your supervisor so that we can make sure that we keep the updates going. COVID-19 protocol continued. When employees may return to work, at least 3 days, 72 hours, have passed since recovery, defined as resolution of fever without the use of fever-reducing medications and improvement in respiratory systems, cough, shortness of breath, etc. And at least 10 days have passed since symptoms first appeared or negative COVID-19 test is presented to immediate supervisor and/or human resources. Employees with sick family members. Employees who are well but who have a sick family member at home with COVID-19 should notify their immediate supervisor and be prepared to stay home. Now, prior to March 15th, if I asked the question, how many people knew someone that had COVID symptoms or were experiencing anything connected with COVID, very few people would raise their hands. Now, August 10th, I can tell you, probably 90% of us know someone who has experienced COVID-like symptoms or has experienced COVID full-blown, and we wanted to make sure that you understood 5 months, a lot has happened as it relates to COVID-19. At this point, professional development travel is restricted outside of our region, our local region of Cincinnati. We do a lot of work with the Intech network out of Napa Valley, and restricted opportunities are going to, we're going to make sure that they're restricted situations where we are not going to travel outside of our region for any conferences. Any conferences that are going to come about will all be remote. So keep that in mind as you look through your portfolios, about getting CEUs, or improving your craft, all of these professional development opportunities will be local. So here's some of the incredible professional development topics that you will enjoy this week and next. Leading through difficult times, building collective efficacy. Coping strategies for teachers due to COVID-19. It is absolutely imperative that we work as a team because some people handle stress a lot different than others. And we want to make sure that we're supporting our colleagues in the classroom as well as out. Effects of pandemic on mental health, very, very stressful. School security and safety training. And this one is very, very important. I have Gmail and Google Calendar, now what? And then flipping out with Flipgrids, new features, and engaging your students in a virtual world. I remember Convocation several years ago, and none of these topics were here. So we do understand that with the virtual playbook that we're talking about, COVID-19 is here. We don't know how long it's going to stay, but we have to make sure that we adjust to it and educate our children in a very, very inclusive way. So here's some of the testing updates that we have to make sure we consider. And I do have to tell you, I'd like to give a shout out to Mr. Holman, who mentioned the state of Ohio says in the year 2021, the third grade reading guarantee, we're going to be held harmless. And his question to me was, Superintendent, what does that mean? And before I could answer, he said it means nothing to him. Meaning he will make sure that his teachers are working diligently to make sure the kids are prepared for the third grade guarantee, even though the state says that there is some exempt status. Because he understands that we are in a symbiotic relationship with other principals and other building leaders. Mr. Holman has an incredible relationship with Mr. Day, and his piece to the puzzle says, I must make sure that my students are prepared so that when they move on to the intermediate building, they are successful. Next, the end of course exams. They have been modified in a way, but I can tell you, with Mr. Martin and his team of educators and all of the teachers that are working diligently to make sure that children are successful, we're taking the end of course exams seriously, regardless of what the state of Ohio says. And then here's the other piece. It is our goal to keep everyone employed at Winton Woods City Schools. That's going to be a difficult task, but I think working collectively together, we can do it. COVID reared its ugly head in this region in March of 2020 on the date of the 15th. And I can tell you, there were superintendents across the state wondering how many of their employees they were going to let go, or how many of them were going to be RIF'd, which stands for reduction in force. That was not our conversation. Other superintendents talked about furloughing people. Before we knew the effects of COVID, a furlough is very, very different. It means that you keep your benefits, but you are unemployed. Those are not conversations that we are having at this point. However, to all staff members, some of the things that we will ask you to do that are safe, that have a connection with educating young people, work with us. Be part of our team. Change a little bit. Be nimble. Be flexible. Because at the end of the day, keeping all of you gainfully employed helps all three of our communities in a very, very different way. According to the statistics that I recently read, 1 out of every 5 Americans is unemployed, and I'm telling you that is growing expeditiously as I speak. From March 15th to now, every employee has received their regular salary without any negative repercussions connected to COVID-19. Unfortunately, if you read the paper and you look on the internet, I had to say paper in case some people are out there at a certain age and you still read the newspaper every morning. I'm telling you, I don't. I'm internet connected, so I just want to just kind of put that part out there. But one of the things that you will realize is, here's what's interesting. Over 500 universities are having financial trouble. And these are universities that don't have huge endowments. I look at our local university down the street, Wilberforce University. They have an endowment of $12 million. That endowment has now decreased to $8 million. You look further up the road to Urbana, where some of our students attended and were part of an athletic opportunity. That university is closed. So COVID does not have any restrictions. It is actually affecting the community and the economy in a very, very different way. So again, I wanted to stress the very, very important part. As educators, our major motivation is always, how do we educate children? And yes, we've always had those safety barriers about bus safety, cafeteria safety, walking through the halls, making sure kids are not harassing others. That's always been part of our mantra and part of our work. However, COVID-19 is creating a different opportunity. How do we keep people physically, mentally, emotionally safe? So the district goals during pandemic, again, keep all students and staff safe. Educate our students with fidelity in such a way that they are all prepared to enter the career of their choice. And 3, to keep our staff gainfully employed. The hour represents all, to keep all staff gainfully employed. And again, for everyone who's watching this broadcast, who's tuned in to the Convocation 2020-21, stay focused, stay diligent, stay prepared, stay nimble, but let's work together collectively as a team. Some districts are making some decisions about remote learning. Others are talking about blended learning. Others are talking about face-to-face. Well, please keep in mind that on July 24th, and I appreciate the board, Dr. Johnson, the president of the school board, the vice president, Ms. Katrina Ruggless, the board member, Dr. John Cupoletti, board member, Mr. Birdie, as well as new board member, Mr. McGowan. And when they voted to start the school out in a virtual experience, they not only talked about the virtual opportunities, but they gave us some opportunities to create a nimble transitional plan where we could move into another phase of our educational system very, very quickly. So we have the virtual experience, we have a blended experience, and we have a face-to-face experience. Now, according to the CDC, when we were having these conversations several weeks ago, we were in the category in Hamilton County, we were in the red category. We have now transitioned ourselves to the orange category, which is less strenuous on the state. The next category, which would be diminishing, which would be the yellow category. So there's yellow, orange, red, and of course purple. I am happy to say that we did not transition to purple, because that would create a whole different set of standards. So right now, many districts across the state are actually having a blended experience or face-to-face full experience because they've transitioned to orange. We are committed to staying where we are, watching the numbers, making sure that all of our children and our staff are safe. So at this point, if you had any speculation or any concern, we are going to remain in the category of virtual, with the hope that we can transition to something more robust. Our parents told us something. Superintendent, we appreciate the opportunity where teachers were logging in and administrators were calling, checking on the students. But we are a face-to-face institution. Let's face it. And if people say, I am very, very good at the virtual experience, none of us were trained in the virtual world. As a matter of fact, standing here today before you, we created a virtual platform, a virtual experience of Convocation, and had to change it because of technical difficulties. So we know the virtual world can work, but it works sometimes at its own pace. So we wanted to make sure that there was a survey connected to our staff as well. How does the staff feel about this whole thing called COVID-19, and how do we educate our kids in such a way that they are prepared for 21st century learning? So here's a return to work survey. I understand the safety precautions put in place by the CDC to prevent COVID-19, for example, wearing masks, social distancing, washing hands, reporting COVID-19 like symptoms. There were 351 responses, 98%, close to 99% of the teachers, or the staff, excuse me, said they understood all of the safety precautions. But then here was the other part of the question. I think the staff realized in order to get our kids prepared for 21st century learning, it was important to make sure that we did it with a level of fidelity. Am I able to still educate my child or educate my student in a way that they would be a progressive student in the 21st century? Well, staff had a lot to say about that. So I'll give you just a sample of one of the things that they said. I will be able to perform my teacher responsibilities virtually for my students while on my school campus. The staff realized something. The March 15th was a surprise. We were not adequately prepared. Now, we have no excuses. We must prepare our students even though they are home and we are here, because there were 80% of our staff says they would be able to perform their job better on campus. Because at the end of the day, I think there could be an increased level of collaboration and keeping all the social distancing factors in place, the hand washing, the mask. One of the things that I wanted the staff to realize is we're providing masks for all staff and all students every single day. We are equipped now to put hand washing, portable hand washing students in the hallways in different places. We also have these incredible machines coming that are Clorox machines that sterilize things in such a way that it takes the place of 10 to 15 men. So all of those things are put in place for the safety of the district, but also the safety of your families as you travel back and forth home to school. So this is a small test. We're starting with our staff first, and as things progressively get better, we'll increase. And who are we increasing? We're going to increase with our wee warriors. We're going to increase with our preschoolers, our kindergartners, and also our very, very fragile students with disabilities. Our neighbor down the street, Hamilton County ESC, called me and said, Superintendent, we'd like to continue with our daycare, our child care program in one of the schools, in one of the buildings that we rent from you. And would you have any objections since you're going virtual? I'm going to tell you, I have no objection. Simply because if that plan works, if it works in a way that they are safe, students don't have any issues, no concerns, no flare-ups, then that may be a model that we could replicate. So just to let you know, there are teams of people, there are members of the team, of the executive team, who have volunteered to go and watch this in person to see how we can replicate it to get our children back to school so they can learn in a very, very different way. So again, I mentioned the 3 plans, the virtual, the blended, and the full school. But remember, these plans are going to make sure all three plans have been accepted, and we will actually try our best to make sure that when we're transitioning from plan to plan, we will give you very, very important ample notice. This will not be, hey, we're moving to another plan in 24 hours. That is not the way that it works. We will make sure that there is feedback and communication. And Mrs. Jordan, my executive assistant, is working on another plan for me. It's going to be an aggressive plan, but it's necessary. My job at this point is to get around to every employee in focus groups of no more than 10, making sure they're social distancing, because I want to hear feedback. What do you think about the plan, and how do you think we can educate the kids to the best of our ability? So I'm going to have roundtable conversations. And these conversations, I want you to give me your actual, honest approach to how do we make this thing happen. My goal is not just to make this about teachers, not just to make this about administrators, but I'm saying all staff, bus drivers, food service people, maintenance. Everyone is going to have a chance to have a roundtable conversation with me so that you can give me feedback, because I think, guess what? Teamwork makes big jobs easier. So the first one, the virtual, what does it look like? Of course, I mentioned in the beginning, project-based learning and problem-based learning will still be on the horizon, but this high-impact teaching and learning, I am totally excited about it. And how do we incorporate the strategies in a digital world? Deeper learning applications. I would have liked to have seen our students in school when the whole unrest came about how George Floyd was handled and how he was dealt with. I would have liked to have received feedback from our students how they would have incorporated this in a PBL experience, and how they would have engaged the community in conversation in a nonviolent way. Our kids didn't get that opportunity because we were in a virtual world. Teacher live streaming of selected classes. The teachers, I think at this point, are actually our showstoppers. They're going to create these live streaming and selective classes, and I appreciate the work of Ms. Hobbs, our tech director, to make sure that, guess what? This live streaming opportunity is actually going to be great. I also heard one great thing about the live streaming and selective classes. For whatever reason, it makes you look, for gentlemen, more handsome and women more beautiful when you're live streaming. So you might want to keep doing that over and over. And of course, there will be recorded lessons that students can go back and check in from time to time. What does blended look like? A group A and a group B by family. Each group will attend the physical campus with a normal class schedule for face-to-face synchronous learning 2 days a week. The other 3 days, students will have a virtual learning experience. So it'll be a Monday, Tuesday. We do a deep cleaning Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday. And I think that that creates an opportunity where this first step with the virtual experience for our teachers actually gives us a platform to launch into something a little more dynamic for our students. And keep in mind, at this point, Hamilton County is in level orange. The full person, in person for 5 days a week, with comprehensive safety protocols in place. Folks, if we ever get a chance to transition to this full opportunity, mask will be mandatory. Now, the Center for Disease Control says that we are orange because people are more diligent and more committed about wearing the mask. So again, staff, you're in the first round right now. And I doubt if I have to go around and start policing people about wearing masks, because you've already been using masks. Most of the people that are listening to this broadcast, you have not stayed home the entire time since March 15th. You've ventured out. You've been to malls. You've been to amusement parks. Some of you have had your own parties and experiences with your families. Some of you have even traveled out of the state. And for that matter, maybe even the country. I don't know. So we do understand that you have not been in a situation where you have been negligent, but you're saying, Superintendent, I am still trying to experience life by also following the safety protocols. The good part about it is our mission for nutrition will still be underway. Students will continue to have the opportunity to receive meals, and when you guys see Mark Doctor, give him a hug. For those of you who know him, he is an incredible guy. He cares about kids. He cares about the nutrition factors. So, of course, we have to change our mantra. We had to change our information. We used to say free and reduced lunch. Well, we've gone well beyond that scope. We're delivering meals by bus. So it's breakfast and lunch. And Mr. Doctor and Mr. Denny gave me some exciting news last week. We're also in line to make sure that we can distribute dinner. So we're talking about distributing 3 meals a day for all of our children, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I can tell you folks, not many districts are on that horizon. So there will be an incredible slideshow with our executive team later on. We'll make sure that we give you prior notice to let you know. No, there won't be any dancing and singing, but there will be something very, very in tune. There's an incredible presentation. It's an overall speech about how we're working collectively to deal with the effects of COVID-19 and how to move our district in such a way that everybody is committed to our work. One final thing before I close. On July 24th, when the board worked diligently, and it was not an easy decision to go into a virtual platform, I can tell you at this point, parents are trusting us. Parents are trusting us. They're trusting our decision. They may be a little frustrated because of daycare and some of these other things that they have to deal with, but they're trusting our decision. They're trusting our decision, and I know they are because they have not made a decision to withdraw from Winton Woods City Schools. So with that in mind, make sure that if we have our students in the right direction and we're educating them with the full force that we know that we can deliver, and all of our students are staying engaged to learning, then guess what? It keeps everybody moving in the right direction. So thank you. I appreciate your time, your effort, your energy, and your commitment to Winton Woods City Schools, and go Warriors.